All right, so we start the show with Lashi versus Sheamus.
Okay.
We get the Orange Lightning. Lashley's in a mood. Because he wasn't on the pay-per-view last night. The Raw champion was not on the pay-per-view anywhere to be seen.
That's a legitimate complaint.
So
he's a heel.
So Lashley
But he's a fighting champion.
Lashley versus Sheamus. Didn't Sheamus just lose last night? Why is he fighting the champion?
So
because this match was, and Dad, I said that out loud. Dad goes, they made this match last week.
Yes, they did make the match last week, but I also read something online. Apparently, the report is out that Uncle Dave is saying is that this was done to turn Sheamus to a face. Because they feel...
That tracks with what happened.
Because they feel that if he becomes a face, the back-to-back losses between Lashley and Drew won't matter, and the fact that WrestleMania right now is looking kind of like shite.
That tracks with what happened. So, in the middle of the match, Shelton and Cedric come down and beat up on Sheamus for a little while.
Yep.
Bobby and MVP are visually confused by this. Why are you doing this? Why are you interfering in his match? We got this. We don't need you right now. Then Bobby gets the Hurt Lock on Sheamus. It was a 2.5-star match. It was decent. So then the Hurt Business double-team Sheamus, and then Bobby and MVP, again, continue to look confused. Why are you doing this? Drew comes down and beats up. The Hurt Business stares down Bobby. Drew stares down Bobby stares down Drew. Drew stares down Bobby. MVP keep yelling, this is WrestleMania. Wait for WrestleMania. Business, not emotion. Business, not emotion. Don't do this now. Don't do this now.
So I have a question for you. Maybe you could help me, okay?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how to phrase this.
Sure.
The main event will be Lashley and Drew, correct?
That is what we are told, yes.
Okay. But Drew lost the belt to The Miz.
Yes.
Right? The Miz then loses the belt to Bobby.
Yes.
Drew, who was not there the week of the show that this happened for some auspicious reason, didn't get his, I assume, and we're talking about things that are assumptions, and you know what happens when you make them.
Rematch clauses are not real anymore unless they are.
Let's say Drew had a rematch clause, right?
Right.
Would his rematch clause be null and void because the champion lost his belt to the new current champion?
No.
So the question I have is, how is Drew eligible for a title shot at Lashley when we have not been told that anybody who has...
Because Lashley wants to fight Drew.
But the thing is that Sheamus at the pay-per-view got super mad at Drew, telling him, you cost me that. And he points at the WrestleMania sign, right? But I don't remember ever in their Monday Night Brawl match being told that that was for a number one contendership.
No. What he's saying is...
I know you're my friend. But what I'm saying is that for the story, all they had to do was drop a line that says, this match is for the number one contender for Bobby Lashley.
No, they never did that.
Okay, I just want to make sure that it's very clear that Vince said Drew needs a pop.
Now, if you are curious, if you go back to the Impact archives, which are free online right now, they are toting and playing all over YouTube Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley for the Impact Championship matches that they had, which were very good matches, because this is where Bobby dropped the title to Drew so Bobby could come over to WWE.
Yes. Good stuff.
So, we go to backstage. The Hurt Business is being yelled at by MVP. Why are you embarrassing our champion? When you embarrass us, you embarrass the champion, you embarrass yourselves, you need to go make this right.
So they're dumping the Hurt Business. Are they going to join Retribution?
I'm just like, why? I don't get this. You know, MVP is honorable now about his... makes no sense.
Uh-huh.
And then I wrote, resist the murder story, fast forward. Then we get... then we get Asuka versus Peyton Royce. They replay Peyton Royce's Raw Talk segment.
Oh, of course they do. Yes. Of course they do.
I wrote, Peyton is quite attractive without all that makeup. And Peyton is showing a lot in this match. If she said, "Give me a chance," they gave her a chance.
Yeah.
Why
not Asuka?
It was the best women's match I've seen on Raw in a very long time.
Yeah.
It was good. There were near fall after near fall. It was believable. It was a 2.5-star match. Asuka did get the Asuka lock on Peyton, as you knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But Peyton showed what she can do. And as soon as the Hurt Lock, or as soon as the Asuka lock, and as soon as the bell rings, this is my brutality.
I saw it. I watched this clip.
And then she goes, "So Charlotte calls you out while you're recovering and getting your teeth knocked out, and now Charlotte isn't here because she's recovering from COVID." What? We're admitting that a wrestler has COVID?
So, BT dubs. I don't want to detract from my girl here, but Charlotte is not on the WrestleMania poster.
No, she is not. And it's interesting that her now released fiance,
Andrade,
put on his Twitter, "Can't wait till you get better. Hope you make it back to the poster." And her daddy, Rick, says on Twitter, "It's a shame you're going to miss WrestleMania." So the men in Charlotte's life are putting up
which is why earlier in the show, for those of you who have stuck around, might remember that I am very interested to see what a MJF, Ric Flair, Charlotte Flair, Andrade 4 horseman stable in AEW is going to look like. I will watch MJF and Ric Flair talk to each other.
Oh, yes, all day.
Yes.
All right, so Asuka says Rhea's not ready. She accepts. I did some thinking. Did you know that there's a rumor out there that Asuka is a twin, and sometimes it's their twin that wrestles instead of Asuka?
I have heard this.
It is completely
false.
It is completely unsubstantiated. Nobody has proved it.
But she does have a twin, from what I understood.
Yes. And she also has a child.
Yes, but very little information about the child is known. I believe even the age is not known.
Yeah, she's a single mom, and she said her private life is her private life. She'll do her fun, and she has a fun YouTube channel.
She does a lot of gaming. That's one of the things that she was doing when she stopped being a wrestler the first time, was she did a lot of stream gaming and things like that.
And then she'd go to Barnes and Noble and look at the Magna section to just laugh.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So anyway, moving on. So we are, by the way, that means we are getting Ripley and Asuka at WrestleMania for the belt. And the only thing I can think of is that I just got tons of points on the board because there's no way that Rhea's not getting the belt. If they don't give Rhea the belt, we riot.
So Drew has now been challenged to a 2-on-1 match. Drew versus the Hurt Business. If Drew wins, the Hurt Business is banned from ringside at WrestleMania.
They're going to break up anyway.
So now we have Miz TV. Miz and Johnny Mullet.
Who enforces these bans, by the way? Because how many times have we seen people banned and then they just run down and jump in the ring anyway?
So Miz and Johnny Mullet complain about Bad Bunny. They have points. They show the WrestleMania poster. Bad Bunny is on the WrestleMania poster.
They're the heels.
Miz is not on the WrestleMania poster.
Because you don't deserve it, son.
Next week we will have the world premiere of Hey Hey Hop Hop. They show a little bit of the video. It is funny. It is funny, and I'm sad and sorry that it was funny. Miz then challenges Bad Bunny to a match at WrestleMania.
Why? Because we're back to the original plan.
So then he says, you can just watch and get a preview as I take on Jeff Hardy next.
Why didn't they just have R-Truth and Bad Bunny?
So Miz and Jeff Hardy start a match. Jeff Hardy asks Miz to be a man. Send Johnny Mullet back. You don't need him. Prove that you don't. You say you're a WrestleMania superstar. Make Johnny Mullet go away.
I like Jeff, but he's never been great on the mic, and he has got such a country hillbilly accent that I can hardly ever tell what Jeff is saying.
So Morrison leaves.
Why are the baby faces seemingly able to just mind bang the heels into doing what they want?
Jeff
Scarlett makes sense because she has magic the JJ powers.
Jeff gets a good move off. He starts unzipping his shirt.
Maybe he just gave Johnny Mundo like some speed or something.
He unzips his shirt.
Oh, wait, no, his was downers. Okay.
And then takes the skull-crushing finale and loses. Miz pins Jeff clean.
The finish is he couldn't get his shirt off.
No, he was getting ready to do the next. Yeah. Bad Bunny then takes the guitar to Miz's back.
Oh, Jesus.
I accept your challenge, bitch, says Bad Bunny in very broken English.
He just won a Grammy. They're not going to let him go. Is Bad Bunny popular? He's got 1 billion views on YouTube. We have 4.
So then we have AJ and Almost backstage. Matt Riddle drives by on his scooter and says, "Hey, Skipper." AJ goes, "I'm not the captain anymore." And then he zoops off on his scooter.
Riddle.
So then we have AJ in the ring. He hypes his match with the New Day at WrestleMania. New Day comes out. You aren't a team.
Is it just me, or does this sound like an awful match?
Like
they're going to debut Omos at WrestleMania.
Yes. Almost. He goes, the difference between you and I, Kofi, the difference between you and I is we are a team. You are a little man standing next to a very big man. Because you don't even know anything about him. He's like, he's my best friend. AJ just goes, he's my best friend. He's like, what's his favorite color? He's like, magenta. And Almost goes, no, it's not. It's like fuchsia. Who cares about color? What's his favorite meal? Oh, that's easy. And Almost is like, I don't like that at all.
What does it matter? You're a bodyguard. You're being paid.
And then he goes, who's his favorite wrestler of all time? He's like, and at this point, Almost is smiling. He's like, I'm having fun with this.
Yes, he can't.
He's like,
but keep in mind, he's the evil. Remember, he went full evil a while back and was trying to murder people.
He's like, who is Almost his favorite wrestler of all time? He's like, that's easy.
Me.
It's me. And he's like,
very good, AJ, very huge.
He goes, Andre the Giant. Sorry. And then
again, you pay him. You don't need to be friends.
So then,
did
they what? Ask a question. I'll tell you the answer.
Did they really just put AJ with a really big black guy because everybody was saying that AJ was being dumb on YouTube or something?
The only thing I ever heard about AJ is he's a flat earther. It's the only thing I've ever heard.
Okay, because it just seems like this is such a weird. They're trying to do the Diesel Shawn thing, but it's weird that they keep rebooking Omos from being the stoic bodyguard to comedy,
the guard of the underground.
Yes, to comedy, to evil, to back to comedy.
He's going to have
to now wrestler to back to comedy.
I'm predicting right now that he will have the moveset of Zeus or Giant Gonzalez.
Well, when you're that big, what do you have to do? The question I have is that, is he strong or is he just big?
Yep, we'll find out.
Because has he thrown anybody big other than Kofi around?
Nope.
He hasn't.
Nope.
He hasn't had a test of strength with Braun,
nope.
right?
No. They teased it at Underground, and then Underground went away.
Well, yeah, that's because I remember when Braun showed up, which did Shane. Oh, you're gonna tell me the Shane thing. Anyway,
yeah.
Okay,
So AJ and Kofi.
This sounds like an awful match.
It was okay. AJ starts to do a phenomenal forearm, and then Xavier blows the trumpet, which makes AJ animate.
So we're gonna have.
Almost starts to stalk Xavier, and then Kofi gets the SOS.
So
was it 2
AJ lost.
Oh, AJ lost. So backstage, hey, have you noticed that Charlie Caruso is gone?
Yep,
she has been fired from the company. Apparently, she didn't make it to interviews on time.
If there's one thing Vince is, it's a punctual.
Hey, Sheamus, how about Drew helping you? I didn't ask for his help. But hey, you know what? 20 years, whatever.
I'm waiting for the brothers don't fight, brothers gotta hug.
Oh, it's coming.
Moment. And apparently they feel that they're going to get the rubber match or something. I don't know.
This
Out of
makes so
them
much
at
sense.
some point down the line too.
Wait, what you said now makes sense. So, hey, Matt Riddle. Hey, Sheamus. Rolls up on a scooter. Hey, have you ever seen the Loch Ness Monster? Have you ever been to Drew's house in Ireland? He just asks all these off-the-wall questions. And Drew's just like, or Sheamus finally's like, get away from me!
Okay.
Uh,
So Riddle is just regaled to backstage moron.
yes, but he's a champion. Then we have Drew versus Bryan, Benjamin, and Cedric. Aside from watching... this was not a match. Basically, Drew dominated both of them.
As he should, because he's supposed to look strong. Now, granted, I don't like that Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander are being sacrificed for the greater good of Drew McIntyre, because he's already a two-time champion, defeated Brock Lesnar, defeated everybody in the company at this point.
Backstage.
So, I don't like that. But if you're going to have him fight the Walking Armageddon at WrestleMania for the title, he better not go on a freaking losing streak for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, so here we go. Bobby is mad. Bobby, you have embarrassed me again. If you can't get the job done, I'll find someone that can. He goes into the locker room where, hi Ricochet, hi Drew Gulak. Everybody else is sitting there. The people that usually run after Drew, after R-Truth,
after R-Truth's belt.
they're all sitting there. And he's like, anyone who takes out Drew for me gets a title shot. That's gonna work out well.
So he put a hit out on Drew?
Yes!
Wait.
Put a hit out.
Wait. Who went into the locker room?
Bobby.
But MVP, earlier in the show, they just cut a promo about
Embarrassing the champion.
and he wants to be a fighting champion, and he's mad because he wasn't on the show last night, right? But he literally just put a hit out on the guy that he's trying to have a legitimate...
Yep.
Okay.
This match you wouldn't have seen
For
anyway.
the last... I'm starting to realize that me missing Raw is actually making me less stressed.
Then we have, you wouldn't have seen this match anyway, Mandy and Dana versus Nia and Shayna with Naomi and Lana on commentary.
This could have gone either way if I would have gotten this or not.
Shenanigans with Reginald, Nia Samoa drops Nia pins Dana.
Why is Dana Brooke and them being sacrificed for this?
Then we have Alexa taunting Randy. Then we have Elias is in the ring with Shane. They sing Brian is Stupid. This song was catchy.
Braun
is Stupid. The song was kind of catchy. I'm sad to say.
Why would he be singing with Shane McMahon? Shane McMahon just threw him literally in front of a freight train.
He's getting a second match.
Why? He just got thrown in front of a freight train.
Braun versus Elias, part 2. Because now I did something wrong. I shouldn't have just thrown that match. Now you've had time to get ready for this match.
24 hours.
Yes. My first thought was, I remember the Symphony of Destruction match. The first time. I wish upon a star that you would have seen this, because I would love your actual reaction. Okay. And if I would have known you hadn't seen it, I would have put the...
Just assume that I'm going to stop watching Raw at this point.
Braun does the run around the ring. They played train audio pumped through the crowd.
I do not regret my decision I just made on the spot to no longer watch Raw.
They played train audio of him crashing into people. So then, Braun power bombs Elias. Shane attacks him with a crutch. The crutch bends around Braun's huge back, which Braun has abs now.
Yes, he does. Braun's probably got a little bit of a better diet.
So Braun then stands in the ring and doesn't move. No sells the crutch shot.
Mm-hmm.
Shane's like, oh, and runs up the ring. He was never injured.
But
Braun, I want you at WrestleMania. Points and sign.
is this...
Shane says, I don't care. Yes.
He's just had a contest with him where he beat the crap out of him and dumped Nickelodeon green goo on him.
Shane accepts the match and states, you can have any match you want. Because you're stupid and I can beat you.
Is this the Braun throws Shane off a superstructure match?
It absolutely has to be.
Is it a Hell in a Cell?
They didn't say.
We haven't booked this yet.
We haven't booked it yet.
Jesus.
But yeah, it's amazing how Vince's plan is coming back all of a sudden. So then we have the
Yes, because even though he's super PO'd about the fact that WrestleMania got leaked and he tore everything apart,
he's rebooking
he
it.
realized that he can't not do this.
So then we have the coup de grace of the night. Here comes Randy.
I was going to say Finn showed up? Please God, tell me Finn showed up.
Randy.
Ron, what do you want for Finn?
Randy is carrying a
I'll
bag.
give you, who do I have that's...
Shayna. No.
I don't have Shayna. I have Bianca. Bianca's probably... No, I'll give you Damian Priest. Do you like Bad Bunny, Ron? Because I'm tired of seeing Damian Priest with Bad Bunny. So I'll give
Hopefully
you Bad
after
Bunny.
WrestleMania we won't see him anymore.
I will give you Bad Bunny for Finn Balor.
We didn't even see Damian Priest this week.
You can make your decision if you want after TakeOver when Karrion takes the belt off of him.
All right, so Randy's carrying a bag, a black bag. Looks like Jake the Snake Roberts.
I was like, does it have a snake in it?
I like, what's in the bag? And then I make a really... Randy Orton's hoodie looks hella comfortable.
It does, doesn't it?
It looks like probably the most comfortable hoodie you could buy.
Why do you think he wears it every week? What do you think? Yeah, it looks great.
I don't know what I say by tonight. Oh, I don't know what to say, but tonight I finished the job. This, and he says BS, full words, does not get bleeped, comes to an end tonight. They drop the BS. Here comes Alexa with the little Jack in the Box she's been carrying.
Uh-huh.
And then this little theme pops up. Pop, goes the weasel. And then Randy's just like, whatever. The camera guy jumps out of it. Goes then the light goes dark, and you can visually see is the best visual of the night. The camera guy jumps off the ring. He's like, nope, it's fine. And then we get the burnt Fiend in the ring, crispy Fiend, and he just stands there.
Yeah.
So then Randy pulls a gas can out of the bag. He smelled it. Ooh, strong gas. And he walks over and he does this. And I wrote, pours on crispy Fiend who just stands there. Murder number 2, question mark? Literally does that. And then he's like, pours the gas all over the Fiend. And then he stands there and he goes to light a match. And then he goes to light the match, and then he puts the match down and RKO's the Fiend, covered in gas. Alexa gets in the ring, stares down and stares at Randy, and then Randy is now transfixed on her because he's RKO'd Crispy Fiend. Crispy Fiend stands up, mandible claw into a Sister Abigail, sign point fire.
That's our show, everyone.
Fire around the WrestleMania sign with the Fiend pointing at it. So, you know how you were complaining about no WrestleMania matches? We had 3 booked on one show. Asuka. 4. Asuka. Bad Bunny. The other one. Elias. Braun and Shane.
Braun and Shane, yeah.
And now Randy and... But they have not said it's a Firefly match yet, which is the expectation.
I thought they said they were getting a rematch of the Firefly mission.
That was an expectation.
Mission.
Well, no, what they had was this most worst match ever in the world. That was the horror match. House of Horrors match is what they had.
No, it was the Firefly Funhouse match.
Randy and them had fun. All right, so other things that are going on, WrestleMania. So that doesn't conclude our Raw, but we're going to talk about...
That doesn't conclude. Try that again.
Yeah.
So that concludes our Raw talk.
But stick around here real quick. So The last episode of Raw and the last episode of SmackDown are going to be pre-taped because they have to be out of Tropicana Field by April 2nd because the Rays play their first game April 9th. So, the Hall of Fame ceremony and the Raw before WrestleMania and the Raw and the SmackDown before WrestleMania are going to be pre-taped.
Matches confirmed
Oh.
are Bobby Lashley with MVP versus Drew McIntyre. This is night 1, by the way. Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. And Bad Bunny with Damian Priest versus The Miz with John Morrison. With, not tag teaming. Maybe that'll get changed. This is a singles match right now for these two. Night 2, Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman versus Edge. We expect that to get changed. Asuka versus Rhea for the championship. You better come through, baby. The Fiend with Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton. Unconfirmed. New Day and Kofi with Xavier... New Day of Kofi and Xavier versus AJ and Omos for the Tag Team Championship belts.
That's been confirmed.
Maybe this is a little bit older. And then Strowman and Shane McMahon. So this has not been updated since Raw.
So, Kylie Ray, remember we talked about her a while back? Mm-hmm. She is wrestling in an indie show.
Cool.
She's still under contract with Impact, but who cares? Batista will not be part of the Hall of Fame this year.
Batista was removed. The rumor is they want a live audience for when they put Batista in.
Batista actually put out a tweet today himself saying that he removed himself. He asked to be removed because he's got prior commitments on a movie he's working on and he wants to be there live to accept the award.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that,
Yep.
Because it's not like a ballot thing like the actual, like Cooperstown or anything like that. It's not...
He wants to be there. He cannot commit to being there because he's on a movie.
Well, also it might coincide with the fact that, Guardians 3 will probably be releasing in and around the time that he goes in next year.
So, and the last thing that Paul White, on an interview with Chris Jericho, said that there was a match for WrestleMania that was pitched that had John Cena, Big Show, and Justin Bieber versus the Wyatts.
We have heard that the Bieb was a potential WrestleMania...
And Vince squashed it because he said, quote, I don't understand how Bieber would relate to our audience. With that, have you heard the rumor? Have you seen the emails or the Stephanie McMahon's comments?
Negative.
So they asked Stephanie flat out, when your father dies, what are you guys going to do?
Saw the article.
And she said... Right now, we're probably going to have to hire a committee to do what Vince does because Vince does it all. So, WWE will be ran by a committee of minds as opposed to one 89-year-old dementia patient.
Because the committees have worked out so well throughout all of wrestling history. Ask Jim Cornette. Ask Paulie Dangerously. Ask Tommy Dreamer. Ask literally anybody who is set on a multi-person committee involved in wrestling. Nothing gets done. The product flounders and dies, and we go into a horrible recession period because everybody can't book something right. Look at the NWA. That's what happens when you have a committee booking. Unfortunately, Vince needs to run himself through a filter, but...
He refuses to. He likes yes men.
Think of it like this. This is a great comparison, because I actually had this discussion at work for somebody the other day, because they said they don't like DC. And I said, why? And they said, I don't know. And they're like, I like the Marvel better.
We're talking about comic books.
Comic books, right? Yes. They go, and I go, well, what? And I was like, well, what? They're like, well, I like Batman. So they gave me the typical answer. This is the same argument I fought with every person who came into the store, right? Why don't you? Well, I don't know. What is it you don't like about it? Well, I don't really read the books. I just watch the movies. Okay. They're like, well, why do you find yourself liking these movies more? Well, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, one guy's like, well, the DC movies are just too dark. I was like, but you said you like Batman. Batman's an incredibly dark book, no matter who's writing it, whether it be the quintessential Frank Miller or Tinian or anybody. Whoever's writing Batman, it's usually a dark book. So you have a dark book anyway, so how can you say you don't like the DC movies because they're too dark, but your favorite character from DC is a dark character, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm like putting the pieces together. I was like, is it really the marketing and the way it's designed and things like that? And the fact that they got there first, do you think maybe that's why? And it's just that it's kind of cool to hate DC because it's cool to hate DC and, kind of thing like that. And the guy kind of was like thinking about it for a minute. I was like, and he's like, well, yeah, and he's like, this movie, Justice League sucked. And I was like, yeah, okay, we can agree. I was like, here's the problem that you're having though, okay? Marvel's owned by one thing. Marvel is also allowed the vision of whatever, like it or hate it, of Kevin Feige to kind of guide the ship, right? DC, a lot of people don't know this.
I do, but yeah.
DC has no overhead of a vision. They keep piecing it out, and producers and doing this. They were going to let Justin Lin, because of the success of Aquaman, possibly come in and do it. They've kiboshed that, obviously, with Snyder and everything. They kiboshed that section of it. DC is a rudderless ship. Because it's a committee. Because they have 15 different producers who all have different rights, and people own rights to Superman, and rights to how Superman can be presented, and rights to Batman, and how this person can be committed. And if you've ever looked at an executive producer section on a DC movie for some of these characters, it's like 3 minutes of a 4-minute opening credit because so many people got their hands in it. That's why a committee doesn't work, is you have to have a vision. We are living in Vince's vision. It's not a bright vision, but at least somewhat of, you could say, a singular vision.
Yeah, agree.
AEW seems to be working very well because we have a somewhat singular vision being...
It's a committee.
Being directed by good influence.
Right.
So Kenny's throwing this in, Cody's throwing this in, the Bucks are throwing this in. But at the end of the day, I do believe Tony Khan can say yes or no to what makes it on his TV that they're paying for with his daddy's money.
I completely agree with it. It's a committee with an overhead.
Yes.
But not the overhead bitching to the committee.
Yes, which is why Vince's thing doesn't work. So what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to say Hunter and Steph are the end of the line, and people bring them stuff. You're just going to have to be Vince times 2.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That's the only way that this is going to work, or they're going to see a massive floundering because we've already seen the fact of their writers can't write.
No, they just hired another. Like I said last week, they hired a writer who worked on MTV's Ridiculousness.
Yes,
that's not, and they bring writers from comedy shows. They bring writers. They don't bring wrestling writers. That's probably the core problem. Because
as Cornette said, there's not wrestling writers. There's bookers.
Right.
There's no bookers left.
Right. Well, because Triple H books NXT, from what I understand, or Shawn Michaels now, and
I would say Shawn and them are probably booking it, which is why it's.
And maybe a little bit of William in there, Regal.
Maybe Regal has to say because he's an executive person in there, but also we do have the undead 2,000-year-old zombie dragon lady that's there, so we can't say they're doing great either. The point is that Vince is going to die, but I think we need to stop focusing on what happens when Vince dies and who's going to take over, and we need to be more afraid of who's not going to take over from what she just said.
Sure.
Because I could take Hunter and Shawn and a couple of these other guys who have come on and look like they're going to be in control of the company, which is what they've always wanted.
Yeah.
I could maybe get on board with that. This, though,
we don't know. We don't need Laurinaitis in charge, that's for sure.
Because,
All right. So, once again, great show, I think. Please, if you enjoyed this, follow us. This will be uploaded on YouTube within the next couple days.
What are we talking about next week, Joseph?
We're going to talk about the Hall of Fame. Speaking of Batista and all that, we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame. We're going to talk about who's in it that shouldn't be. Who should be in it?
If your answer to that is the Bella Twins.
And then we're gonna talk about the age-old question: does the Hall of Fame even mean anything? We'll talk about that next week. Hey guys, take care.
I'll do the mask thing. Do the mask thing. Introducing my new tag team partner, the Jomafor.
The what?
I don't know. I just made a word up.
Okay. Hey, this is Joey and Mike with Powerbomb Powerbomb Weekly.
All right. You need me to do it?
Yeah, you do it.
All right. How's it going, everybody? This is Michael and Yosef here for Powerbomb Weekly. We come at you each and every week with recap, content, discussions, everything about the wonderful world that is pro wrestling. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. Give us a like, give us a share, tell us what you think. Interact with us, and we will gladly interact with you, or else I will send this big SOB to your house. Yeah! Have a wonderful night, everyone. That was a good cutter, actually. That was pretty good.